Morning, YouTubers and everyone out there in PC gaming land. Well, I figured I'd conclude the video, or at least mostly conclude the video. I wanted to take some footage of how this thing looks in daylight, you know, with the contrast with this particular case. I really like the white and black. It's not on right now. I'll turn it on just for shits and giggles. But this is a really nice contrast. As you guys can see, the Fantex air cooler fits perfectly. Let me get this side panel off real quick. And so it took me I'd say about 5 hours. I'm not kidding. I mean, because there was a little bit of confusion with the wires. You know, the manual wasn't really, you know, very explicit as far as like what goes to what, and I had to figure out like really like the power connections were somewhat. I mean, it didn't take me 5 hours to figure out the stupid wires, but I'm saying all together, I didn't slap this thing together in half an hour. Make no mistake, and I had to assemble the air cooler, mount the air cooler on. I had to, you know. I mean, there was quite a bit of stuff that had to be done. All these little connections, you know, the HD audio connection. You over here, I had to assemble this thing. If you guys can see that, there's like a multi-pronged. It's like it's a connector to the front panel that has like your power button, your, you know, the USB 3, etc. And also the routing of the wires. I did a pretty good job with this. As you can see, the Fantech PHTC14 PE. I know it's impossible to remember that. I'm just practicing, really. But I love this motherboard. Oh my goodness! Look at this. This thing looks it just looks very nice, and it works. I got a good motherboard. That's the most important thing. And I've already used some of the features, like overclocking. I was trying to run 4.7 gigahertz at only 1.4 voltage, and it got into this loop where it wouldn't load. What you do with that is there's a button in here to the left of the power and reset button called the mem OK button. You basically start with that. You hold that button down, and it basically loads the previous BIOS values, and it boots off of those. Then when you get into BIOS, after that, you still have the option of loading the values that prevented the boot anyways. So that's really cool. And as you can see, there's the OC panel. There's it's funny because like I spent like about $2,100 all said and told on this thing, and at the very end I had to settle on a DVD drive, and it took me forever to find the cheapest one. Right, and I got this one here. It's like a generic DVD drive for $20, but it has the Asus logo, which I thought was kind of cool. And you know what's really amazing is that everything works. All the front panel functions work. I mean, as far as the assembly goes, it was like the first time go. I mean, one shot, one kill. I started it up, and it started right up. The only issue I had with this build was I got hung up on the Windows install with Windows 7. Because I had migrated my hard drives over from my M18RX. This is the M18RX, if you guys ever wondered. And I did post it for sale. I have had a few responses, but as you can see, it's got this custom fiber bezel, and it has extremely anti-reflective. I mean, basically that highly reflective protective plastic cover that's normally on there has been removed, and it's almost like a matte screen, to be honest. There's pictures comparing the both, but taking the hard drives out of this and putting them in this, Windows 7 was telling me that they were a different format. They were MBR format, and that they needed to be GPT format. Well, I had no idea what the hell that was. That was Klingon gobbledygook to me. So I had to go with my smartphone, and like a Google detective, I had to go figure out what the hell the problem was. And I found there was a way to convert it by hitting. If anyone else experiences this problem with Windows 7, and you're using some hard drives that are not the right format, you basically hit Shift and F10 at the beginning, and then you basically have to go and like hit I think it's descript or something, or I forget what it is after that. But you basically have to hit like a series of 10 or 15 commands to change the function. If you ever have the problem, just Google converting MBR to GPT format. That's it. But I mean, that wasn't anywhere in the instructions, and it was just a total nightmare. But yeah. So I've had a few. I'm having some issues now with the overclocking, and I don't believe it's this. I don't believe it's the CPU. I think it's the memory that I have. I mean, it works like at the lower speeds, but if I try XMP, right? If I put it on XMP, which basically it's a new feature. It basically just instead of having to set the timings with the memory and all the. I mean, there's the settings for this are just like, I don't even understand what I'm doing, to be honest. All I know is like the multipliers and voltage. And when you get to when you're dealing with the memory, it's just a nightmare because you got TRRDD, VCCD. I mean, and there's like 15 of these things. You don't know what the hell it is, you know. But I'm following one guide, one ASUS guide, and I'm still having issues. Like, I mean, I got a few scores on Firestrike. It broke 12K in Firestrike with like 17,000 physics and like, I believe it was, oh no, I take that back. It wasn't 12K Firestrike. It was 10,900 Firestrike with 12,100 on GPU and 17,000 physics. I mean, that's decent. 3D Mark 11 is less than stellar. I thought I was going to be around 15,000. And I'm only seeing 14,100. But this is kind of irrelevant because the system's not even stable. I mean, even though it passes these benches, I'm still getting full system shutdowns and blue screens, and I'm running a healthy amount of VCORE of CPU voltage. I'm running 1.472. That's what I was. That's what I last manually had it set to, and now I have it 1.465. Or through XMP, and it's still shutting down. But anyways, I will conclude this later. I'm going to try to get this thing up and running. Just wanted to show you guys the finished product here with the contrast. I love this contrast. Look at that, the white and black. It looks great. Yep, loving this so far, and it's so quiet. In the other video I posted when I had like no sleep and I was up for 18 hours. And I was kind of loopy. I mean, it's really quiet. I mean, I think the GPU temperatures in both 3D Mark 11 and Firestrike were around 70 degrees, but you can't even hear it. And that's another thing I'm happy to report is that the fans. It's like all the fans, not just the fans for the CPU, but all the case fans are actually PWM, or pulse width modulation, if anyone was wondering what the hell that means. Meaning, they basically respond to some kind of temperature sensors in the computer. The CPU responds to CPU temperature sensors, and it adjusts the fan speed accordingly. And yeah, so that was a potential problem that I was expecting. But no, the whole case, not just the CPU, but even the case fans are PWM. And I mean, that's great because it's quiet, but I'm now experimenting with more aggressive fan profiles to help, push some of the hot air generated by the GPU out of the case. Because it's like I'm just now starting to experiment with the more aggressive fan profile on the GPU itself with a program by EVGA. I think it's called Precision X. It's kind of nice actually, but yeah, so I got it together. It started up first time. My only hang-up really was Windows 7, converting the hard drives to GPT, which I didn't know how to do at all. And there were some other issues too, like the mouse didn't work. And that's another thing too, like initially, none of your USB 3 drives are going to work. You only can use USB 2. So I had the mouse connected to USB 3, and I thought it was just something wrong with the mouse port. But then I found out no, you can't use USB 3 until you get into Windows. So initially. Just if you ever install Windows and you're like, well, I can't use my mouse, make sure you got the thing connected to USB 2.0. Same with the keyboard. Alright, I will run some more videos, but that's it, guys. I am loving this thing. It's so quiet, and it just looks great, and it's powerful, and I'm happy. And well, thanks for letting me share this with you guys. Oh, and the specs will be down below the video. Alright, see you guys later.